I help the cashier load everything onto the table, and my total comes to $979.
Let me ask you a question. How much money would you have to make to feel comfortable shopping at the world's most expensive grocery store on a regular basis? 100 grand a year? $500,000? Or is there no number that would get you to justify paying for things like $30 for 8 ice cubes, or $20 for some cut up watermelon, or raw milk for another cool $20? Personally, you couldn't even pay me to take that last one because raw milk is just disease waiting to enter your body, so no thank you. But back to the question, would you ever do your grocery shopping at this place? And if so, how much money would you want to be making to feel comfortable shopping there? Let me know what that number is for you in the comments down below.
You can only shop here if you make $1 million a year.
And what's crazy is that whatever number you just thought of, there is a high chance that someone is shopping there making way less than that. Why? Because it's Erewhon. It's not just any grocery store that sells pricey moss in a jar or a $19 imported strawberry from Japan. That is a single strawberry, by the way, just one. No, this is the one and only Erewhon, luxury grocery store of the rich and famous, the influencers, and the wannabes. That sounds harsh, but it sounded cool. Also, that strawberry video that I just showed you, top comment on there felt like a great peek into our discussion today, where it said, "Watching from District 12. A Hunger Games reference for anyone who doesn't know, and the comment isn't wrong. In the series, the Capitol was incredibly obsessed with weirder and weirder status symbols, pouring excess money into wild outfits, goofy makeup, and, of course, sponsoring kids in their battle to the death. Now, I know that seems like an extreme parallel to make when ultimately we are talking about a grocery store, but that is exactly why I am so fascinated by the Erewhon obsession, because I think this goes beyond just a grocery store. Erewhon, its devoted customers, and what it stands for in our culture says so much about our current values, how obsession forms, and the strange ways that we constantly use money to show off to others. So with that, let's talk about how Erewhon came to be the world's most expensive grocery store, why people are so obsessed with it, and what it being a status symbol says about where we are as a society. By the way, if you are new here, I'm Cara, and I make videos about the intersection of money, media, and culture. If you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe, and you'll probably like my recent videos on how things like Labubus are getting worse, or how we saw the downfall of Stanley Cups. Speaking of Stanley Cups, they're similar to Erewhon in that they've turned how we consume food and water into a status symbol to spend money on. People touted Stanley Cups, whole armies of Stanley Cups, because it felt like showing off status to the world and proving that you're part of an exclusive in-group. And the same conspicuous consumption is happening with Erewhon. I mean, why else would we see things like $27 bottles of water? $27 for a bottle of water. That is insane. What's even crazier is when you put it in perspective of what water that money could buy for others. For reference, $1 alone can give a person clean water for a year, so that $27 you'd spend on an Erewhon water could give someone else clean water for decades. Huge, since a whopping 1 out of 10 people in the world do not have access to clean water. As some of you guys know, I like to do a few fundraiser videos every year where the money I made from the video goes to charity, and this video is one of them. All the revenue will go to WaterAid, a charity that's been focused on water, sanitation, and hygiene projects for more than 40 years. If you want to join in and donate too, that would be amazing. The link to do so is down below. My goal is to raise $5,000, and to help with that, I'm going to match your guys' donations up to $1,000 total in the month of August. If for some reason you guys don't want to use my fundraiser link down below, you can also go and donate to WaterAid directly and then just screenshot the receipt, email it to me, and if it's in the month of August, I'll also match it. But anyways, back to Erewhon, land of the famous $20 Haley Bieber smoothie. Where did it come from? I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I only started hearing about Erewhon a few years ago. Like they suddenly just popped up out of nowhere with their expensive ice balls. But surprisingly, Erewhon has been around since 1966 when it was founded in Boston. And its name was inspired by the satirical novel named Erewhon, all about a utopia where people are responsible for their own health and criminalized for being ill. Honestly, pretty fitting, since Erewhon's brand is heavily focused on wellness culture. As they write in their mission, quote, "By filling our bodies with the best the earth has to offer, we can become our better selves." Their mission also includes this very dramatic line, quote, "We are more than a grocery store. We're a community." It's given mild cult vibes. Like if I walked into my local Walmart where I did my groceries and they were telling me, we're not just a Walmart, we are a community, I would be a little freaked out. But I'm not here to hate, I'm here to analyze. And ultimately, kudos to any brand who is investing more in ethical food sourcing and gives back to their community. I genuinely applaud them for that. But what I'm not applauding, and what I find so fascinating, is how this kind of melodramatic yet seemingly well-intentioned grocery store turned into a cultural obsession and wellness mecca for the rich. Just look at the Google Trends data on people searching for Erewhon. In the past few years, interest has skyrocketed, and so has social media buzz. Erewhon shopping tours are like viral catnip. It's how I first heard about Erewhon and all the crazy prices. And nowadays, it's not uncommon to find influencers like Alex Earl doing Erewhon hauls.
We're doing an Erewhon haul. We had to get eggs. I feel like a really healthy girl. Oh!
What Alex says in that clip about, quote, feeling like a healthy girl is a perfect example of what sparked the Erewhon obsession. It's a mix of three things: exclusivity, the sense of wellness or health, and, of course, aesthetics. Vogue, the famous fashion magazine, wrote about the Erewhon craze in a piece titled The Business of Erewhon. In the article, they talk about how Erewhon sits at the intersection of two important luxury market trends: quote, luxury as an experience, not a product, and the wellness and well-being trends. Now, I will say that health is one of the areas of my life that I am willing to spend more money on. It's where I've had the most lifestyle inflation, from buying more Whole Foods at the grocery store, to getting free-range eggs, to joining the fancy gym with more workout classes. And I do think that compared to things like more clothes or a cooler car, health and wellness purchases can give you way better return on investment in the long term because, we live in meat suits and taking care of those meat suits is very important. But at the same time, parts of the wellness industry are just weird and toxic. Going back to the raw milk thing, I'm sure there are going to be people who are upset at me for hating on raw milk. But guys, there's a reason that we pasteurize that stuff. Disease, my friends. Lots of diseases. But honestly, diving into the wackiness of modern wellness culture might have to be saved for another video because there's a lot to talk about there. But back to the Erewhon craze, that obsession with health, or more like perceived health, is a huge reason that customers flock to Erewhon. In that same Vogue article, they capture some fascinating quotes from real Erewhon customers. Quote, the fact that it's healthy means you can justify the price, she says, holding a pink smoothie in a basket stocked with Irish sea moss supplements and Erewhon branded chocolate. Her friend, celebrating her birthday at the store with a pastel green smoothie, notes the abundance of natural light. Quote, I feel calm here, she says. No one's stressed. But that could also be because everyone's rich. Those quotes perfectly embody the triple whammy of exclusivity, everyone there is rich, health, the products are branded as pillars of healthy living, and aesthetics, the natural light pouring in, the pretty pastel smoothies. This is the groundwork that creates interest. But to turn Erewhon into a full-blown obsession, that is where psychology, marketing, and the modern status symbol comes in. Like I said before, shopping at Erewhon has become a method of conspicuous consumption. Meaning by shopping there, you're not just buying groceries, you are buying an identity. It's the same logic as buying a designer bag. You could carry your stuff in any kind of bag, but something like a Birkin tells the world that you have the resources and the in-group knowledge to acquire that bag. At Erewhon, the $20 smoothie is your luxury bag. You can walk around for the next few hours holding that cup, signaling to everyone who sees you that you are part of an exclusive and pricey club. Or better yet, take a picture of your Erewhon smoothie and post it online. Suddenly, your entire social network can be clued into the fact that you are an Erewhon shopper. You are adjacent to the world of wealth and wellness and excess. The implication becomes that you have so much money lying around that you don't even blink an eye at those outrageous Erewhon prices. Or if you are on a budget, the implication becomes that you just care that deeply about your health that you are willing to invest. And yeah, sure, groceries are consumable. You can't store them in a closet and bring them out for every occasion. And honestly, you could probably find just as healthy of products at Walmart, but it doesn't matter because the real value is the social currency that Erewhon groceries buy. In recent years, there's been a lot of discourse around the concept of food and groceries as being status symbols, and I think that discussion is spot on. When we look back in history, things like status symbols and beauty standards are usually a direct reflection of that specific culture and time period's values and anxieties. celebrities. For example, for a long time, being thin was not seen as the beauty ideal. Being larger and having fat was seen as desirable. Why? Because it implied that you could afford food. It meant you probably weren't out having to tend fields or do manual labor all day. It was a reflection of wealth and power. Nowadays, being thin, or even better, being fit, is desirable because now it means there's a good chance that you have the time and resources to work out and buy quality goods. Again, a reflection of wealth and power. I think groceries have transformed into the same thing. We're living in a world where people argue that our food at its best isn't nutritionally sound and at its worst is poisoning us. Simultaneously, people's schedules feel stretched thin with work, and so having the time and the resources to carefully curate your groceries becomes a symbol of power. I can't help but also mention here that this trend reflects a very worrying cultural belief that health is a purely individual pursuit, that being healthy and eating right mostly comes down to individual responsibility. At one point, I would have bought that idea 100%, but less and less these days. I think that society and government actually play a much larger role than we would think. Like, how easy is it to access fresh fruit in your neighborhood? Are you able to walk there, or do you need a car to get around? Things like that. Also, to be clear, I'm not saying that everything in a store like Erewhon is actually healthy and good for us, but the branding is there. Erewhon is intentionally selling itself as a place for healthy living, and thus people can feel validation when they buy from Erewhon. The marketing goes a whole step more by aligning itself with celebrities for additional status.
So I am on my way to Erewhon right now.
Some of the celebrity smoothie partnerships Erewhon has had in the past include Haley Bieber's strawberry, Bella Hadid's orange popsicle, and Kendall Jenner's peaches and cream. They're kind of taking a page out of the Fyre Festival book by just stacking the roster full of Instagram viral celebrities. But hey, it's working. According to Forbes, in 2023, Erewhon reportedly generated $171.4 million in profit, and that is only with a few locations. Now in 2025, they have been opening more and more stores, so obviously something is working. And as absurd as Erewhon can be, the cultural obsession only seems to be growing. Look, at the end of the day, people can grocery shop wherever they want. More power to them. But I think it's worth reflecting on what the Erewhon obsession says about our relationship with consumption. I am all for health, and I'm very sympathetic that the wellness culture is a response to modern anxieties. But at the same time, are we actually healthier because we buy $20 cookie dough and $30 water from an aesthetic grocery store? Or are we just performing health through consumption, buying into yet another luxury product that has been marketed to us? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what topics you want to see me cover next. Remember, if you are able to, please consider donating to WaterAid, where I'll be matching any donations made in August up to $1,000 total. Link to donate is down below, or you can scan my QR code, or like I said earlier, you can email me the receipt if you donate directly. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting this channel, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!